What's up, y'all? This is your girl, Mary B. I am here with y'all today for a show review. I'm switching it up from the podcast. I'm going to do a show review. Before I get into it, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Please like and comment. Definitely subscribe at the end if you're feeling it so you can hear and see when I post new videos. Definitely comment so we can talk about this. Like, I'm here to talk about it. I'm just not on here to talk, say my thing. I want to talk to you about this. Let's talk about it. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And share this video with somebody who you know likes the show too. It might find it funny or whatever. But the show we're going to be talking about today is Harlem. I am obsessed a little tad with Harlem. I love it. Almost like I was obsessed with The Best Man final series. And I'm going to talk about that one too. But we're going to start with Harlem since they are only 2 episodes into the 2nd season. So if you're new to Harlem, no problem. I'm going to get you caught up as much as I can from the 1st season in this video. And then from there, we'll talk about episode 1 of season 2. So Harlem pretty much is about these 4 women. And I see a lot of girls, well, a few girls on Twitter that have compared it, to Sex and the City. In which, I get it, it's 4 women in New York or whatever, and they're living their best lives. All of them are single, no kids, so they're focusing on their career. They're trying to be, focused on relationships and things like that. But life, like all of us. So we open season 1, or we find out in season 1, our characters are Camille, which our main character, Camille. And then we have her friends, Ty, Angie, and Quinn. So, like I said, this is a brief recap of season 1, and I'll just go through it by character to tell you where they started and how they ended up on the finale. So with Camille, who is our main character, she starts off the season of season 1. She's a professor at Columbia. First of all, I'll tell you about her. She's a professor at Columbia, adjunct professor for now, but she does want to be a full-time professor. So she teaches at Columbia, and then when the first episode, literally, she's coming in, she's talking about like some these women that are, in this country, that they are very independent. They have their pick of the men. They have called walking marriages, where as soon as they done with one, they on to the next, very focused like that. So she's like, that's the stage I'm in my life. I'm focused on me and what I want and my career. So that's how she was coming off, only to, at the end of episode 1, discover that the ex she had broken up with is now back in New York, and she sees him. Like, that's what she sees in episode 1. She finds out her ex is back in New York, and so that does something to her. They end up communicating, kissing a few times, and by the final episode, they have reconnected to the point to where the final episode has them kissing on the stairs of the wedding venue where he was supposed to get married the next day. So that's Camille. I love Camille. I'm rooting for her. We find out in the first season that she's a Gemini, and we can really see it. We see the Gemini going on back and forth, back and forth. I can see it, but very much, yeah. And so Ty, the first season, Ty is the LGBTQ plus friend. She's queer or lesbian, I would maybe the proper word. And she's trying to figure her stuff out in season 1 as well. She opened season 1 letting us know about her company. She has a tech company. I think it's called Q or something like that. But it's only for people of color that are queer. Trying to date. It's an exclusive app for them, which I thought was hella cool. And so Ty has that, and she's looking to sell it or looking to, get investors for it and things like that. She's very smart, very connected. So That's what she's doing like in the first episode. But by the last episode, it's been brought to our attention that Ty has somewhat of commitment issues. And one of the reasons why is because she was once married to a man before from her hometown. And he's coming back. Mr. Brandon is back. And we don't know why he back, but Ty foresees that he's back for her money. And that last episode, well, really, did hers go down? I think hers went down the early part of last episode where she pretty much told him, like, I know you're here for my money and I'm not giving you none of my money and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you think I'm here for your money? That's what you think? Oh, he was hurt by it and he went off. The season ends with him disappearing. Like, he was staying with her, but when she went back to the apartment that last episode, he was gone. So we don't really know what's up with Mr. Brandon. And then we have Angie, who is one of my favorites because she's like the free-spirited friend. I think we all have that friend who's like free-spirited, and I like that because I'm not like that. And so I admire that about her. She gives me very much Lynn from Girlfriends. And so she's very much... I like to explore. I like to do my own thing. So she doesn't really have a consistent job. And so, like I said, she's very much like Lynn, where she bounces from friends couch to couch. Or like, hey, can I spend the night with you? Can I spend the night with you? Can I stay with you and not pay you rent? Like, she's one of those friends. So you love her to death, but it's like, girl, I want you to get some act right. So you have Angie. The first episode of season 1, I want to say Angie was pretty much still at that point trying to figure her stuff out. They show us that she had this little singing career for a while, but unfortunately it went to a single and not an album. She never really got on the radio either with that single, come to find out. So it didn't really profit her a lot, but she's a performer. She's a singer. She's an actor. So in, season 1, she ends up finding this gig on a play for Get Out. And by the final episode, the play is canceled because Andrew wrote in to the Get Out, ultimate Get Out people. I forgot his name. Don't kill me. They wrote to him with Jordan Peele. I remember the letter they read the back. They wrote to Jordan Peele, so excited about the Get Out play. Jordan wrote them back and said, shut it down. I didn't tell y'all to do no play about my movie. So, because of Angie and her letter, the play was shut down. So, she without a job. So, that's how she ended season 1. No job. And Quinn, we have the girl Quinn, which is my fave. I love Quinn because she reminds me a lot of myself. She's like a hopeless romantic. She is a boutique owner and a fashion designer. Very girly, very much. If people, the people that do compare this show or have compared this show to Sex and the City, they say like she's the Charlotte. She's the hopeless romantic. She's the one who, just wants it all. And she does have this privilege that she comes with because she comes from a wealthy family. And so she's not really hurting for money, even though her shop isn't doing the best. Her family helps keep her afloat. So that's how she wins out on things. And so that's Quinn. And so it opens up with Quinn in season 1 of the show. It opens up with Quinn trying to figure herself out and like, I've been on this dating tip of, just wanting to exclusively date, but now I'm trying to do my whole phase. She didn't do good in the phase. She ended up liking the people she was trying to not like, kind of like me. Like I said, that's something I know I would do. So Quinn in the final episode of season 1 is still in her discovery of self phase, and she's exploring her sexuality with LGBTQ plus herself. She axes out old girl that's on the campaign, that's running for office. She axes her out the final episode, and the girl says yes, and Quinn is excited. And so that's how they end on season 1. So jumping into season 2, where we start with Camille on stage. And what I love about Harlem, y'all, it's the music. And see, with me, even if I'm not doing these reviews, in which I'm just starting out, I will watch a show back to back to back because I'm like, ooh, let me pay attention to what they're saying. And then I'm like, ooh, let me pay attention to the music because the music, it tells a story too. Harlem is on point with the music. I don't know. I'm going to look it up in the credits, like who does the music so I can look them up on social media and hit them up in their inbox like, you do your thing. You do your thing with that music on Harlem. Because every song is going to tie into what's going on. I kid you not. Like, you'll see. Just go back and listen to this music and the words. You'll see. All right, so season 2, episode 1, we start out with Camille on stage giving one of her lectures. And it's a good little speech. And what I like to say, what I love about Harlem is their music. Harlem will sync up a song to the scene like it ain't nobody business. I need to look back through the credits to see who is on the music so I can DM them and be like, you doing your thing. You doing your thing with the music and with the syncing up of the scenes and things like that. Y'all are doing it. So it opens with her giving a lecture, and in the part of her lecture where she says, where were we? And it flashes back. And then she continues to give her speech and say something about, and yeah, something about rewriting history. And it flashes back again to her in on the steps, kissing with the mirror, looking over the balcony, holding her dress. So sad. Like, that's so sad. Like, I want Camille and Ian to work their thing out, but I feel bad for poor Amir because it's like, that's a situation you can really put yourself in both people's shoes. Like, a lot of us have probably been a mirror where we see the man that we're wanting to be with is out here still fooling with his ex and don't know how to let it go, and we just sitting here hanging on to hang on. That was a mirror until this point. A lot of us have been Camille, so deeply in love with our ex that we hadn't moved on, for one. We hadn't fully moved on because she did have Jameson little fine at. We hadn't fully moved on emotionally, right? So there are unresolved feelings there. A lot of us can see both sides. Some people will say, hell no, I don't get Camille, forget her. Forget her. I was finna say something else. A lot of people have been a mirror where they like, yeah, forget Camille. But a lot of people have been Camille where they're like, forget a mirror. Like, this my man. I can definitely see both sides. So, poor mirror. So she's standing over the balcony, holding her dress, looking at her fiance kiss his ex. Gotta sit back. And so the scene opens with her trying to pretend to laugh it off, like walking down the steps like, oh no, Ian, I didn't know you'll be out here. You're going to see my dress. Oh no, you have... And then the part that like literally made me rewind, especially like knowing what's going on. Ian look crazy self, like when she coming down, like, oh no, close your eyes. You can't see the dress. This man, after slobbing down Camille, oh, I can't see the dress, turning around, covering his eyes, like, sir, forget them superstitions. You over here kissing somebody. What superstition is that? Like, you can look at that dress. You can look at that dress at this point. But he turns around, covering his face, like, oh, I can't see the dress. And so she walks past while him, just could not pretend like he can't see. And Camille fumbling on, girl, I'm just here to trying to explain. You should have did that. So it's Camille trying to explain what's going on. And Amira gets to the bottom of the steps for to walk away, and she stops and she asks herself, she's like, or she says it out loud, but she's like, am I gonna pretend I didn't see that? And so I think Ian was like, huh? And so she turns around Are we gonna pretend that I just didn't see y'all kissing again? It's like, kissing? What? She's like, yeah, let's not act like that. Like, I saw y'all kissing just now. I saw y'all kissing at that little party, the Titanic party, or the couple that y'all hooked up who no longer together. Like, I saw y'all kissing then. And she says, I thought it was just emotions. I thought it was the past. But here y'all go again kissing the day before our wedding. I'm not going to act like I don't see it. Like, she goes in on Camille. When I say she reads her, she says you're self-destructive, you're selfish. Ian called you flaky and said that you didn't support his career. Like, she ran down. She asked him, why would you cheat on me with a woman who left you at the curb the day y'all was supposed to move out of the country together? The same thing that I'm literally doing for you right now. You asked her to do it and she didn't want to do it. You said she was flaky. You said, like, she went out, like, telling him, like, and I'm not mad at her for doing it. Now, Ian did try to interrupt her and be like, oh, don't bring her into this. This ain't nothing to do with her. And Mira was like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm equally mad at both of y'all. Because she sat up here and smiled in my face. You literally sat up here smiling in my face, acting like we good. So I feel Amira. So she went off on them both respectfully. And she chunked the deuces. Like, she was out. Her and her dress in hand was out the door. Like, I would have left the dress. I would have said, forget the dress, forget you. I'm out. But she left. And it's a sad day. Walk outside. And Quinn is excited because, you know, she got this money from Amira from doing the dress. And before Amira knew how her friend was doing, Amira had referred her to a lady to do 73 questions, a thing in Vogue. So Amira had some connections, I guess. So Quinn's all excited about that. And Camille's coming out looking sad. Next thing you know, the tears start flowing. And it's sad days. Because you just done blew up folks' world. Okay. So we skip on from there. And we're checking in with Angie. And Angie is checking in with Eric, her winter babe. You know, from the play. And at this point, Eric got his chain up on the door, honey. Eric said, ain't no more winter time. Ain't no more winter bays. We done, boo. Because of you, I no longer have a job. I'm not even in the mood to hunch on you. You can go home. So, that's a wrap for her. Like, she ain't got nobody right now. And so, she goes home, you know, on the couch to Quinn's house. So, the next day, we see the girls getting ready for the day. You got Camille getting up, stretching it out, finna go for a run. Tie-dyed her hair blonde. She on her Cisco or Eve tip. We got Quinn over here fixing her a cute little smoothie. And then you got old Angie making her a morning cocktail, honey. So you got a lot going on in the morning. But the scene that I loved was after they did their morning routine, they came together for the walk scene. I'm here for it. The fashions, honey. The fashions, like fucking Dani, but the fashions. Camille's dress was giving me everything. Quinn's dress was giving, now Camille's dress and shoes was giving me everything. Quinn's dress and shoes was giving me everything. Like, they were looking good. They were a good looking group walking down the street. So, they get to the restaurant. They doing their little run through from last night, trying to fit, because they all had got drunk. Like, I forgot to mention that final episode, the reason why everybody was out doing their own little emotional thing, they were all drinking. Now, Camille and Quinn drunk the most. They were drunk. That's how Camille ended up quitting her job the last season, the final episode as well. So they get to the table, they talking about last night, everybody kind of going over everything, and then That's when I said they go around. So we'll start with Camille. She's talking about how she done blew up the thing. I done blew up the thing. I got no seat, figure out how to fix it. And then she's talking, flashback steady coming back from last night. And she realizes at the table, did I quit my job last night? Yes, girl, you did. You went to that lady house and quit your job. And so then Angie gives an update just saying, hey, I'm just still over here trying to figure out. I don't have a job. I don't have no cuddle babe. I'm just on Queen couch trying to make it, you know. Ty says that, no, she's still going through with Brandon. She's telling me how he done moved out, how he probably wants half, and he's saying, this, I don't have no companion, I can't make no love connections, and, you know, he just done went off on her. And as she's saying it, the girl's looking around like, dang. He kind of read you with the truth. And so she's like, y'all agree? And he's like, well, you know. They agreed, Ty. And Quinn is the only pretty much excited one about her little date with the lady, her lady date. And so they all just give their little updates from last night or whatever. And leaving the restaurant, they run into this guy. I think he was a homeless guy with this little silver hat on. And he gets Angie's attention as they're standing there to cross over to the street. They're like, what y'all, well, no, they're trying to figure out plans. And then he gets their attention. And so he's telling Angie, like, you know, give me some money. I'll tell you, you know, your future. She's like, I'm not giving you no money. And so he was like, well, you're going to have sex with the most handsome man in New York. And then all your bad luck will be gone. She's like, oh, is this true? Like, I'm having bad luck. He might know what he's talking about. So the girls leave the restaurant after they leave the bed and they go over to get pedicures. They're sitting there getting their pedicures. The conversation continues about Quinn and her date. And then as they're talking, this handsome guy walks in, nice looking, light skin, dress. And he is there for Angie. And she just swears that's the sign from the silver hat man. So she texts the group. It's like, what coincidence is this? Like, I got a fine New York man finna run my feet. I'm about finna lose my, you know, finna get my luck back. And so they sitting there texting about it or whatever. And I think Quinn asks another question in regards to 6 on her date. Like, how I don't know what to do with no lady. Like, do I touch a boob? Do I do this? Do I do that? Like, I'm nervous. And so they get to talking about that. And Camille turns around. It's like, Angie, when you... Baby, Angie was gone. Her and that young man took off. Okay? So she went to go try to see if she could get her look back. And just as they turn around from noticing that she's gone, Camille gets a text from her boss saying, yeah, you can come on by. Let's talk about your job. Because she, you know, had reached out to try to get her job back. And so she gets that text. And so they gather up their things. Well, she gathers up her things and she leaves. But Quinn and Ty are still there. So they are talking about the date again. And, you know, this is Quinn's first time on a lady date. And she kept calling it. And so Ty's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and help you. Let's go on to the little sex shop and get you some stuff so you won't be so nervous. Baby, that's going to make Quinn even more nervous in this sex shop. So they head out. Everybody's gone now from getting pedicures. They head out. And, and they take with Camille at her boss's door. So she's standing there at the door, you know, waiting for the lady to come, which is Whoopi Goldberg. She wait for the lady to come, and she's like, hey, you know, I just, you know, talk about my job last night, and like, have you ever heard of takesy backsies? Like, no. She's like, are you still drunk from last night? She's like, no, I'm not drunk, but I do, you know, apologize. I want to retract my resignation. You know, I don't want to quit or whatever. So like, okay, well, let me think about it, because you said a lot last night, and which she did. She said a lot that final episode. So like, let me think about it. And Camille is fine with it. And so she goes about her business. And then they take us to catch up with Angie. So now when she had left the pedicure or the salon from getting a pedicure, she sent them a picture like, me and dude in the taxi. We finna go try my look, get my look back. So they at the dude house by this time, and they done already ran through around. And so they getting their clothes back on. And so she was like, I was just talking to a guy, and he told me something about my luck will be broke if I have sex with the finest man in New York. She up here telling them man all this. And he like, oh, how long ago was this that you had that reading or whatever? Girl, she can't tell the man it was today. So she's like, oh, it's about a year or so. And so they walking out. And they walk up on the man roommate. He fine too. He up here doing like some little, what you call the things when you pull yourself, hurdles? He doing them. And his package all in our face, so we couldn't help but see it. And so, Angie, she was like, oh my God. Tell me why this girl made up a story to these folks saying that I have a twin and she's interested in you. Go on, put your number in my phone and she'll be back tonight. So you want to go and smash both the roommates the same day, love? Do you? Okay, but why you got to bring a whole unreal twin into it? But she did it. It worked. So she got the boy number. She left. And then it takes us to the scene with Ty and Quinn at the sex shop. So they getting into it. Baby, what killed me in this scene was the light fixture with all the dildos on it. And Quinn said, what's this? And Ty said, it's a light, I hope. Because none but dildos on it. And so she's like, oh my God. Like, I guess maybe this was Quinn's first time in a sex shop. Or maybe it's her first time in this sex shop. But I'm like, Angie, for you to be as old as you are, you acting real shocked by some of the stuff you seeing. So they get to talking about toys and things like that. And Ty somehow is triggered and gets to her feelings about Brandon and how she's so frustrated about that situation. And Quinn's like, apparently it's bothering you a little bit more than you want to admit. Because at this point, the girl just slamming stuff in the basket. Like, she just put stuff in the basket. And that's probably why Quinn bill was $4,000. To me, it shouldn't take no $4,000 to buy some sex toys. But hey, that's none of my business. That's none of my business. Okay, so we move on. So we move. And then we go back to Camille. And at this particular scene, Camille is at Ian's mom's house because this is her apology tour, as the girls call it. She's on her apology tour now at Ian's mom's house to go ahead and apologize for breaking up the wedding that they put all that money out for. And so she pulls up to the house and the auntie answers the door. Auntie Tammy is my fave. Like, even in season 1, she was going too hard on Ian for real about Ray's, being taken over. But I like Aunt. I like Aunt Angie. I mean, Tammy. I like Aunt Tammy. So Aunt Tammy meets her at the door, and she giving it to her just as bad as Amira. Like, girl, what are you doing here? Like, you broke up this wedding. We trying to figure out what to do with all these pounds of shrimp. The girl done got a 10-tier cake. Like, we got stuff we trying to work on. We got guests that done came from out of town. Why are you here? And so and so Camille was like, well, I did call her. She's expecting me. She was like, oh, okay. And so the aunt again drilling her. She's like, so what is it with you? Like, why did you leave that fine man that you had the other day? And now you back with my nephew. Like, you broke up. He's like, what's up? And so, Camille feeling away. And she replies something. And the comment that Tammy gave her was just like, there you go. You said it, girl. But she was like, Camille, it's always some type of little excuse with you. Like, it's always some type of little excuse. And there's some people that are very much like that. Like, it's always something that causes them to do something, or, it's always something. And that's Camille is like that. I wonder, is that a Gemini thing? I don't know. But, no, it might not be. But I don't like what Aunt Tammy said right there. She gave her the truth. So Camille goes in. We don't get to see what happened when she goes in. Where did think, yep. When she goes in there, we go back to Ty, who is trying to figure out, still, she's by herself now. She's no longer with Quinn, but she's walking around trying to figure out, I'm still dealing with these thoughts from Brandon. Like, so she's trying to figure out how to find connection, how to find that companionship. So she pulls up on a pet store. And there's this little dog in there, and the girl's telling her about the dog. She said, "Oh, he sounds like me," you know. She's in the playpen with the dog where you go to bond and see if y'all really can, you know, be a family. And so she in there and the dog vibing with her, but she's thinking about it. And I think she calls Camille while she's in there. She does. She calls Camille while she's in the pen. She's like, "Girl, I'm about finna get a dog. What you think?" Camille's like, "Well, that is a living thing that you will have to, you know, be responsible for." So she breaking it down. And so Ty taking it all in like, "Oh, you're right. Well, how you doing over there?" And so Camille's going on. So, "Well, you know, it went really good. You know, his mom was upset, blah, 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 about the money, blah, blah, blah. But she always wanted us back together, so she's happy. So I think I'm pretty good with everybody. You know, I got a couple more apologies to make, but I think I'm good." And so as she's saying that, Camille was like, not Camille, Angie comes up. What's the girl name? Amira comes up from behind, and it's like, "Yeah, just about done." And so she gets off the phone with Ty, and, you know, this is like awkward because it's like, damn, here you go again. And they have a back and forth again where pretty much Amira tells her, "Just F off. Like, you ruined my life. And you pretty much have now the life I was getting ready to have tomorrow or yesterday. You got my life and I hate you. Like, F off. That's what you can do for me." Like, she literally said, "You can do me a favor, though." And Camille's like, "Oh, yes, what can I do?" "You can F off." And she just politely walks off. And I think Camille mouth, like, pick him out for, pick him out for, blah, blah, blah. The jaw drop. Because what else you gonna do? Like, you up here, what can I do? What can I do? What do you think you can do? You just ruined this girl's life. It's literally nothing you can do but give her man back. What you talking about? What can you do? Nothing. But like she said, F off. And so Camille takes that after she picks her jaw up, and she just walk off like a little puppy. And I'm like, "Oh, that's a good way to end the scene." Because, baby, you just, it's a lot. So that was the end of that scene. So Camille goes back to her boss's house. The house for Whoopi Goldberg goes back to her boss's house after the talk with Ty and the talk with Amir, because I think one of them said a line that she uses. I might have been Ty, but one of them says a line that she uses in the last speech to her boss, and pretty much just saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be," I think it was the girl, like, "You're not committed to, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm gonna be committed to what I said at first. I'm not gonna work at Columbia. I'm gonna finish out my summer contract, and I'm gonna haul butt on y'all after that." And Dr. Pruitt, I think that's her name, yeah. Dr. Pruitt was like, "Okay, cool. Like, that's something I can really respect. Thanks." And closed the door in her face again. That lady never really liked fooling with her, no way. So Dr. Pruitt is probably like, "Good. I'm glad you go. Leave me alone." So Camilla's about to be done with Columbia after her summer contract. So we'll see what's going to happen after that. So we move on. We move on to the nighttime. And if you see me looking down, y'all, I'm a writer. I have to write my notes down. Sorry. But we move on to Quinn leaving her date. And the date was going good. Like, her lady date was going really good. They come back to her apartment for the after party. And they, you know, talking. She's showing her around. She gets the tour of the room. And that's when the things get spicy. So they start kissing, and then they, you know, the clothes come off. And as funny as this was to me, I'm sure if it happens to somebody in real life, it might not be funny. But Queen gets down on the floor, pulling out. But first of all, she had a toy in the bed. One of the little toys you can put on. The strap-ons. She had one of them in the bed under the pillow. So the girl feels in and she's like, what is this? And Queen was like, oh, you don't like that one? It's okay, I got more. This girl goes to the side of the bed, pulling out all the dildos. I mean, when I say all $4,000 worth, she pulling out. She's like, I got this one, and this one that got the tip on both sides. And she's like, I got this one if we both wanna, I got this one. She pulled out one, like she got a hole with two hands. I got this one. It's like, I don't want to know if we do it with this one or what we do with this one, but I got it. I got this one. Like, she coming out with them. She got tools and she got everything she bought from that store on the side of that bed. And the lady's like, you know what? I'm good on that. Like, we don't need none of that. And Queen was like, I'm just nervous. Like, I don't know what to do. And she's like, I don't need that. I just need you. So Queen does try to go down on her lady friend, but it don't work. She's laughing down there. And like, who wants somebody laughing down there? So that's, the lady's like, nah, I got it. Let me lead and you follow. So the lady gets to doing her thing and Queen is highly pleased. So we skip that scene and we go over to Angie, still on her twin tip, back at the dude house. She goes ahead and confesses like, I ain't got no twin. I just wanted to have sex with both of y'all. I'm here. Do you still want to do it? They still end up doing it. What more bothered me, but what tripped me out was the fact that she's like, you know what? I need fake to be my twin. I thought that's something everybody do. Boy was like, no, that's kind of crazy, but he still smashed. So she's end up satisfied. Then we go back to Camille. Y'all, Camille is walking home. And these little ladies, tourists come out, popping, trying to get pictures, trying to ask her about a bar or something. She's like, lady, I ain't got time. But as she hits the corner, she sees Jameson at her door with a bottle of wine. He's knocking. And he sees her like, hey, I've been calling, I've been texting. She's like, oh, okay. And so they embrace, He's like, I got some news. I called, blah, blah, blah. The lady who works at the Chicago school or whatever. She's like, oh, no, I told you don't call her. I don't know if I want to go. He's like, no, I didn't call her for you. I actually called her for me because I'm thinking about just staying here. I'm just stay here. Baby, when he said he was staying there, Camille about turned as white as her little shoes was. I mean, her face probably turned pale. She was like, what? Because that was in the plan. Like, I'm finna get back with my ex at this point. So they pull back and she's still sitting there looking like blank face. And that's how the credits begin to roll, with Camille looking blank face. And what really summed it up again was the song that they played at the end. It was called My Ex. Again, I wrote it down because I had to go look it up. My Ex by Poe Leos. That's Poe space Leos. My Ex. That song fit perfectly right there. Whoever put that song right there, you knew what you were doing. That song fit perfectly with that ending, because my ex is all up and through, sir. We're not gonna make it. And that's where episode 1 is. To me, I would have liked, it's 2 parts, okay? Let me say this. I do like Jameson. So a part of me wished that Camille would have not kissed Ian on the steps. A part of me wishes that. A part of me also wishes she would have did what she did. But the part of me that wants her to stay with Jameson is bigger than the part that wanted her to be with Ian. Just a tap. It's probably like a 49, 51 type of thing. It's like, because it can't be 50-50. It's like a 51-49 type thing. It's like right there, so close, but it's not there. A part of me really wanted her to stay with Jameson just off the strength that, to me, it would have been the right thing to do, to not break up somebody else's situation. But again, a part of me is like, you did what you needed to do to be happy. Because at the end of the day, you have to look out for your own happiness. And if that man had told me he was in love with me, I would have did it too. I would have did it too. So I can't be mad at what Camille did. I can respect it. Like, I hate it. Like, there's someone to tell, "Ooh, I hate you did that," but I respect it. You gotta respect it. I feel bad for Amira, but she'll be okay. Because apparently that wasn't a nigga for you. If it was that easy for him to leave, he's not the one. And so that's why it's always like, it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet in these situations. Like, I'm just hanging in to see how it's gonna go. Episode 2. Here we come. Let me know y'all thoughts about episode 1 and season 1. Let me know what you think. Are you Team Jameson, Team Ian? What you think about Quinn and her lady date? Do you think Angie is going to be all right? Find her a new job? What? Ty and Brandon. I don't know. Let's talk about it. Get that in the comments so we can talk about it. This has been the recap and a recap of season 1 and a review of episode 1, season 2. So yeah, so let me know what y'all think, and that's it. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to y'all next episode.